Hey guys, I wanted to come on and show you guys how to contour and highlight your face. First off, I want to say thanks again for everyone who's been checking in on me. Been sick this week. For most of you that know or don't know, I do have a heart condition that I've had to deal with for many years, and it acts up every once in a while. It's been acting up a little bit more than usual, but I'm working through it as much as possible. But I want to thank you guys all for the support. So on a lighter note, we're gonna contour and highlight this face. So as you guys know, Senegence is not just about the lip scents. They also have various cosmetic products that are amazing, and they do a lot with cellular renewal of the skin. So if you've had skin problems in the past with like dryness or too oily, patchy areas, the Senegence products have a enzyme in it that's called Cineplex complex, and what it does is it helps renew the skin over time. I'll go over it a little bit more after I actually show you guys how I'm going to contour with these brand new color corrective concealers that just came out. Hi Tora, I may not be able to see comments, so I'm sorry if I don't answer any questions right away, but I do see when you pop up, so I will say hi. So thanks for coming in. So about a week ago we had 3 new color correcting concealers that just came out. We have them in 3 colors. We have light, we have medium, and we also have deep. So today I'm going to show you guys how I highlight and contour with these concealers in order to bring out my makeup. Now, just putting on just basic foundation that we use, I use the Advanced Anti-Aging Foundation by Senegence. It's the Make Sense, and I've already put that on. So basically it's a flat surface with just the foundation to bring out certain areas of the face in order to highlight, especially if you like taking a lot of pictures, or if you just want the light to hit your face just a certain way to where it brings more attention to certain areas that you want to bring out, or if you want to tone them down, you would contour. Contour will make your skin a lot more chiseled and will allow it to sharpen areas that you feel you want to appear smaller. Highlighting, on the other hand, will bring out the light in certain areas to illuminate around your eyes, under the chin, at the nose area. So I'll show you guys where I put it and why I put it there. So the 2 I'm going to use are the medium and the deep color, because I really don't need too much darkness. I sometimes, if it's like a more festive occasion, going out, that I will use a darker shade to contour more of my cheekbones, but just to highlight it and just bring a little bit of life to my makeup, I will just use concealer just to highlight under my eyes and at my nose and at my chin. Now, what I use, if I do decide, which I think I'll just go ahead and show you guys all together, I do use our Shadow Sense in Garnet. I use that for my contour because I'm a darker skin. It tends to show up better and be able to show the chiseled areas that I want to bring out my cheekbones and stuff like that. And then after I put these on, I'm going to talk to you guys about baking. Now, baking is a way of really bringing out your face a lot more with not just the highlight. So you would use like a translucent powder and you would apply it over the areas in which you placed your highlight. You don't chisel, you don't put any powder on your contoured areas because you want those areas to be shadowed out. So without further ado, let's get started. So I have my my deep and my medium. So I'm going to apply the medium first. So I'm going to use a contouring brush. This is a flat brush. You can get these anywhere. Sephora has really good contouring brushes. And I will just apply a little bit of this because this is really good and really thick. I tested it out on my arm, and as you can see, it pretty much covered my tattoo. So it's really good concealer. So I'm just going to apply it under my eye first. I'm going to use my mirror so I can get a better look. So you just want to apply it right up under the eye. And you want to do this when your foundation is already on. Just like that. And then I'm going to do the other eye. Now I am by no means a professional. So if there's certain terms that I'm not using correctly, if there's somebody out there that knows this stuff better than me, let me know. So I just applied the deep. So now I have my deep on. I've added that. So now I'm going to use the medium. And I'm going to apply the medium right over the deep. Now if you're a lighter skin, you wouldn't have to do this. You could just use the colors, the lighter color under your eye that you would need. So that is the medium. I'm also going to apply it on the other eye. A little bit goes a long way. You don't really need this much because this is a really good concealer. It covers the areas nicely. So it's not a lot that you need to use in order to get the effect that you want. And now also I'm going to take some of this and I'm just going to apply it on the bridge of my nose. Just a little bit more. There. And I'm also going to add some to my Cupid's bow, which is the area right above your lip. And right below my lip. A little bit more. Just like that. So now I'm going to take my beauty blender. Now when you're applying your contour, you want to use a damp beauty blender. Now when I say damp, you want to make sure that you can't pour any water out of it when you squeeze it. And so the way to get it to that consistency, you want to take a clean paper towel and just squeeze it to get out the excess water that you couldn't get out by just squeezing it by itself. That's what makes it nice and damp. So I'm going to take the chisel portion of my beauty blender, and they come in different shapes. You may get them completely round with just a beveled tip, or they will come like this. It all depends on the kind that you work well with. So I'm going to take this and I'm just going to go ahead and lightly blend that in. And as you can see, it's really highlighting my face. I'm going to go ahead and do the same down the bridge of my nose. And this is one of the reasons why I like using this beauty blender, because of the beveled end as opposed to the sharper, rounder end. Just like that. So see, it blends in nice and even. So what you want to do with the back end of your beauty blender, you want to take this and you want to work on the edges of where you placed your concealer to blend it in more into your makeup. Now remember, I already have my foundation laid, and so I'm doing this in addition to. And I want to go ahead and get under my lip, or below my lip rather, and at my Cupid's bow where I put some concealer. So now what I want to do is I want to take a dry beauty blender, more like this one, and this is the other type where it's rounded but has somewhat of a sharp edge. And you want to take a dry one because it picks up the powder better, and allows you to lay it on top of the concealer a lot better. Now, if for me, my skin isn't the best. I do have some areas where it's drier, so for me, I wouldn't use my damp one. I would use a dry one. But if you have really nice skin, using a damp one will also work for you. So I'm going to go ahead and take this, and I'm going to take the shorter edge of the beauty blender and take just enough translucent powder. Now Senegence also has a translucent powder that you can use to do this, and this method is called baking. Now if you wanted to just keep your face just like this, you totally could, and you would be just fine. Baking is more for when you're going out and you really want your makeup to pop. This is something that you would do also. So I'm going to take my powder and I'm going to just apply it under all the areas where I highlighted my face. Tap it. I'm going to do it again on this side. Add a little more. Now this is something that, like I said, you would do for like special occasions. You wouldn't want to be baking your face when you got to go to work, because this is a process and ain't nobody got time for that. So, this powder is going to make me sneeze. Excuse me. And a little bit here. And so this usually stays on for about 2 to 3 minutes. And that gives you a perfect amount of time to do your eyes or do your hair or anything else that you would want to do. So, speaking of that, now like I said, if I wanted to do my eyes, I will go ahead and grab my shadow scent, apply my shadow scents, to my eyes, make everything look good. Or if I wanted to start doing the contoured areas, I would use a darker shade. So in this case, I would use Garnet. And I would pretty much do the same thing. I would find the parts of my cheeks, line it out, and then just draw your line. Take your wet beauty blender and blend it in. To give you more of a chiseled look. Now you would apply the darker shade to the areas where you want your face to look more narrow or make it smaller. And so I would also do the same thing around my nose to make my nose look smaller. I wouldn't put any near my lips because I don't want my lips to look smaller. So where you want to the areas of your face where you want to look smaller, that's when you use contour. The areas of your face that you want more highlighted, like under your eyes, that's where you would put your highlighter. So let me do the other side. And what I'm using for my contour is Shadow Sense and Garnet. Now if I want to do my nose, I would do the same thing. But I'm not going to do my nose for right now. So while we're waiting for this, give it one more minute. Just give you a little bit more information on the Seneplex complex. So all Senederm solutions and creamy Sena Cosmetics contain Seneplex complex. It's a kinetic enzyme that affects the way cells grow from the bottom layer of the skin to the top. So Seneplex fights the signs of aging by renewing your skin cells on an average of 23.3% more rapidly. So that means if you were to start any of the Senegence skincare lines and you got to a point where you wanted to use it long term, within 8 weeks, you will see a complete difference in how your skin was prior to using Senegence products as opposed to the 8-week process. And I have a lot of friends who are using them and they are ecstatic about how their skin has changed for the better. I'll be doing this, starting the regimen next week. And so, yeah, I can't wait. And I'll be having you guys follow me on this journey. So hold on just one second. I will be right back. And that is how you bake. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take just a little bit of my foundation, not a lot, just a little bit. Going to take the foundation and I'm going to, with my foundation brush, just go over lightly those areas again, because if you don't want it too highlighted like it is right now, you can tone it down with just adding just a small bit of foundation. But if you like this look, if you're going for a more glam look, this is perfectly how you want it to look, because you want it to highlight the areas here. You want to highlight and under your eyes here. If you have a big forehead like me, don't put too much highlight in this area because it'll definitely bring attention to that area. So what I'm going to do is just lightly, like around here and around the sides of my nose, I'm going to add a little bit more foundation. So what I'm going to do to contour around my forehead to make it look smaller, because like I said, my forehead is slightly large, you just add contour to the sides of your head with your damp brush. You just work it in. To the areas where you want less light, just like that. And as you can see, it's a lot less light on my forehead than there was before. So that's basically how you contour and highlight your face. Now, one thing you want to know is the way I contour my face based on my shape of my face will be a lot different from someone who has a more rounder face, a more diamond shaped face, or a more oblong face. I will put up a diagram of the different ways to contour so you can find the best shape or your shape and be able to understand where to put your highlight and contour. Brushes, you can get a standard contour brush, and basically this brush is good just to paint the areas more precisely of where you want your highlight and your contour to go. Also, just make sure that you always put your foundation on first before you do your highlighting, so that way you can actually see where the areas are going to be highlighted and contoured. If you highlight and contour before, you're kind of defeating the purpose of highlighting those areas that you want highlighted. What else do I want to tell you guys? In terms of the beauty blenders, just recapping everything, when you're working your contour or your highlighter in, or your contour, you want to make sure that these are nice and damp. You don't want them soaking wet. Just get a paper towel and get the excess water that you couldn't get out while just squeezing it. But when you are doing your baking with a translucent powder, use a dry beauty blender as opposed to a wet one, unless your skin is able to take the wet powder on your face. A dry one works really well, and it'll allow you to place it just with like the beveled end. You can place it right where you need, under your eyes and on the bridge of your nose and on your cupid's bow and under your lip, just to be able to highlight those areas. So that way when you put on your lip scents or whatever lip color that you're going to use, those areas will bring attention to your lips, especially if you're going for a bold lip. Now, if you want your lips to look wider than they are, then another trick that I learned from a makeup artist is you want to take some powder and you want to place it when you're baking. You want to place it just a little bit on the edge of your lip, right at the V. So you want to place a little bit of powder, and you'll let that set along with everything else that you're baking. When you brush it off and you put your lipstick on, you'll see a huge difference in how your lips actually look compared to if you didn't try that method. Next time when I come on and have you guys watch me put on makeup, I will try that method so that you can see the difference. Now, I'm gonna post pictures of my after, and actually before I do that, maybe I'll put a color on. Let's see, we'll try. Having some technical difficulties, guys, with my camera. But I was going to put on a color just so you can see what the finished product is. But I think it's time for me to go. But thanks for coming on and watching. If you guys have any questions in regards to how I did this, I'll be happy to answer those questions for you in the comment section. Or if you want to send me a message, that's also fine too. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you guys again soon.